Hey you guys, Christine here from Magenta Goddess. Do you like how I manifested my little greens in the back? I always wanted something in the background. Now, I came here to pull a card for you. What a wild ride it's been. Anybody else? Like, holy shit, man. So fun as well. So fun as long as you breathe, as long as you bring in the joy and stay with the fun. Oh, there you go. Card is falling out. Attack, pain, fear, judgment, and any form of separation are merely calls for help. I am the loving energy of the universe. These two really do go together, don't they? So, attack, pain, fear, judgment, and any form of separation are merely calls for help, which means I just had that thing with my son this morning, right? And we had a bit of, not a blow up, but he did something and then my stuff came up, and in the end, at the end of all my anger and everything like that, I just told him how much I loved him, and his whole face lit up. And I think the way he acted was just simply because he needed some sort of validation that he is okay and that he's loved and that I love him and that I won't let him go, right? And now that I say that, I just wonder where this fear comes from. Anyway, so there are calls for help in the sense that we all have needs and we all just want to be loved at the core, right? And being validated and, yeah, just loved. So if we are judging someone, okay, where don't we love ourselves, right? If we are attacking someone, okay, so first of all, where are we attacking ourselves all the time or beating ourselves up and all these things? And then, of course, it happens on the outside, right? So that we attack other people, but what is actually underneath that as well? Like, how do you feel that you feel in an attacking mood, right? So there are deeper needs that have been unmet, there are deeper feelings in that. And it's the same with when I think about domestic violence. So many people get driven so mad until they throw things back or they act in a way that they think like, this is not me, right? Why am I acting like this? Because the way you have been exposed to the manipulation and the drama is driving you in some ways so crazy that you don't know any other normal way out of it anymore, right? And the other thing is that you're also being made looked horrible. So let's say you're being abused the entire time, like under the radar, right? As I said in earlier videos, this like drop on the forehead constantly, right? My mentor says death by 1,000 cuts, right? It's like a little cut. It's like, oh, you come out and say, hey, they cut me. Oh, this is not bad. Like, what are you complaining about? Blah, blah. But if you have like this little notch continuously and they won't stop, although you say stop, or you walk away and you do whatever you feel like is normal to put a boundary into place or make it stop, and it doesn't happen, it drives you mad. And then once you get really like loud about it and step up and say something, they make you look like the crazy person, right? And you be like, what? And then everybody is just, they are pointing their finger and everybody thinks you are the crazy one, because I mean they didn't do anything, right? They just like put a raindrop onto your forehead or just like brushed you accidentally or whatever. It's not really a reason to, one of them would not really be a reason to get off at someone, but because it's so subtle the entire time. And that is what kills souls. So what to do about it, right? And that's not even always that simple, because yes, there is something inside of us that we can do to shift the situation, but as well, it sometimes does take a DVO order against someone, or it does take leaving a job, because many people that have been harassed and abused in a workplace don't want to be exposed to that anymore and don't want to face it, because let's face it, abuse does scar you in a way that, you know, you do remember you don't want to be there anymore, especially if you don't get supported by the management. Some people, even though they got supported by management and their bosses and whatever, still want to leave. You don't want to be in this environment anymore where this happened, right? And especially if you integrate that within yourself, it also shifts out, right? Your self-worth is now on a level where you also don't want to be, or your inside is at a level where you let it go, and it does actually let go on the outside of your life, right? It's just also energetically seen a natural manifestation, if you may. Like it's normal sometimes for people to then leave the workplace. Tough titties, to be honest. Like, dealing with abuse is, in my opinion, the most challenging thing ever, because just little things like that can have that much of an impact that you heal the rest of your life from it. It's almost like living with a disability. You just have to find a way to make life worth it, to step up and be the love. Where is it? Be the love that you actually are. Conscious love, consciously knowing that what comes up is a trigger, it's the past. You can move through this and past that, consciously loving yourself through this, so that even though you speak up and people don't hear you, you love yourself through this. You believe in yourself, you deal with that next trigger, even though you love yourself consciously and make choices that support you in this. You either keep stepping up, you keep speaking up, you keep doing something about it, or you keep creating a life where that pleases you, right? That is good for you. That and with that, as you put your own heart first again, there is no place for that either anymore, right? And the more you do that, the more you let go of attracting situations like that at all. Saying that, if you get really close to manifesting anything, you can come across those situations again. There's so many people that keep still attracting certain situations years and years and years after they've moved through abuse, right? So I don't think anyone is really prone to that. But then again, it's also where you are at that point, right? And I do believe you can get to a point where it's not a thing anymore. And the thing is also, are you ending up in certain relationships again, or are you allowing certain behaviors towards that again, or do you have better boundaries in place now, right, where you don't allow that to happen anymore? Excuse me. All right. Well, that's my card from me to you. Didn't know that would come out, but it did. Yeah, moving from domestic violence to conscious love. That's it. And you can create all of that from within and really choose the life you came here to choose. Like, no more comparing your life to others or whatever it is, right? Just really choosing your own joy, your own heart, your own being, and going from there. Because that is what ultimately is best for everybody else. When people say, oh, I'm acting for the highest good of all. Okay, what's best for you is best for everybody. It's not always easy to decipher, because we do get indecisive, we start to doubt, we get in our heads, blah, blah, blah. But we are human. This is just a practice. Just like you practice yoga or exercise or eating healthy, over time you see results, and over time you will get better, and over time you will trust yourself more. Over time it's get easier to love yourself more, and so forth and so forth. Over time it gets easier to spot those red flags, and we are all learning. It's not that, oh, you know this now, you should be knowing everything. Like, no, every one of us is still learning. Every one of us is still simultaneously a masterpiece and a work in progress. We all are. No one is perfect. No one is like wholesome in the sense of they don't make mistakes, or they don't grow, or they don't evolve anymore. That's bullshit. Okay, so joy is the ultimate creator. And I'm writing a post about joy today, because you can literally breathe it in. Just thinking about it brings more joy. If you want a more joyful life, just breathe it in, just think about it. And I found that when I did that yesterday, I was like, I want to live a joyful life, right? And I started to think about joy, and I started to talk about things with other people that bring me joy. And then you end up doing things that bring you joy. I would play more music here, right? Or I spent more playtime with my son, or I would go out and ride my bicycle, like whatever brings you joy. But the whole idea of it comes from within, right? You write more again, you do more of these things that bring you joy, and with ease as well. You just need to choose joy and then flow, right? I mean, that's really all you do, and just like show up. It's not that hard. unless of course all your triggers come up, and then that can feel hard. But as I said, you love yourself consciously through it, and you can bring the joy into this, right? How can you joyfully express that? You could write it, you could dance it, you could, I don't know. And sometimes it feels so thick that we may not feel the joy, and that's okay too, but you can move through all of that. It's just energy. And then there's more space for more joy to come in. All right, you guys. If you need some help with any of that, if you need someone to guide you through this, to find your own answers, to show you the next step, to really get to the core of it all and to transform it there, so you don't have to deal with things in the past anymore, and you can move forward into a life of conscious love, of joyful living, send me a message. My Oracle card readings are doing exactly that. My free group, as I always say, is open for you, so you can dive in and have all the tools ready for you. Connect with other people that have been through what you're going through, and just have a scroll through the conversations there. There are conversations with other like-minded people and their journeys and how they have handled them, because it's also about finding your own way, your own lessons, your own path in this, your own individuality, right? And send me a message if you're interested. And tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. we will holding the online manifestation workshop. So if you want to join us in creating the life you want to live, that you dream of living, that you know is possible, then send me a message, because we start at 10, and I'm happy to send you all the information and have you join us. Until then, happy days, you guys, and I'll see you next time.